Have you ever noticed how two people can face the exact same problem, but one of them completely unravels while the other handles it with such composure that it almost feels unshakable? Think about it. Same storm, same chaos, but two completely different responses. Why is that? It's not luck. It's not that one person had an easier situation. It comes down to one thing: how trained their mind is to stay calm no matter what happens. Now here's the truth. Life will never stop testing you. Someone will disrespect you. Circumstances will blindside you. Plans will collapse and people will disappoint you. That's not a maybe. That's a guarantee. But here's the question I want you to hold on to for the next 30 minutes. When life pushes you into the fire, will you let it burn you alive, or will you walk through it without flinching? Most people believe strength shows up in aggression, in snapping back and proving a point. But let me tell you, true strength is silent, steady, and calm. It's the kind of strength that doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to panic, doesn't need to prove anything. Because when your mind is trained to remain calm, you own every room you walk into. You command respect without asking for it, and you become untouchable in the face of chaos. And the best part? This is not something you're either born with or not. This is a skill. A skill anyone can learn, anyone can sharpen, and anyone can live by. The mind can be trained like a muscle, and when you train it to stay calm, no matter what storm comes your way, you stop being controlled by life. You start controlling life. So let me ask you, are you ready to become the kind of person who cannot be shaken, the kind of person who is calm when everyone else is panicking, who sees clearly when others are blinded by fear, and who walks through storms with the kind of quiet power that makes the world stop and pay attention? Because if you are, then let's begin. Calm is often misunderstood. People think calmness means weakness, passivity, or silence. They imagine that staying calm means you don't fight back, you don't defend yourself, you don't stand up. But in reality, calm is the most powerful state of mind you can carry. Because when you are calm, you are not being controlled by your emotions. You are in control of them. And that control is what separates people who crumble under pressure from those who rise above it. Think about the moments in your life when you lost your temper, when you let frustration or fear dictate your response. Did you feel powerful in those moments? Or did you feel like your emotions hijacked your judgment? More often than not, when we explode, when we panic, when we let the chaos get to us, we look back with regret. We say things we didn't mean. We make decisions we wish we hadn't. We give away our power in seconds. And once it's gone, we can't get it back. That's why calm is not weakness. Calm is power. Because calm keeps you steady while everyone else is losing their ground. Imagine you're in a room where things suddenly go wrong. People start shouting, panicking, running in different directions. Energy is high, chaos is thick. And then there's one person still composed, unshaken. Everyone will look at them. Why? Because calmness in the middle of chaos is magnetic. People trust the one who doesn't panic, who doesn't flinch, who doesn't let emotions hijack reason. That person instantly becomes a leader, whether they asked for it or not. This is why some of the most powerful people in the world are the calmest under pressure. Soldiers in combat, negotiators in life or death situations, surgeons in operating rooms, even athletes in championship games. They all know the same truth. The moment you lose your calm, you lose clarity. And when clarity is gone, so is your power. That's why training your mind to stay calm is not just about feeling good. It's about holding on to the one thing that keeps you in control, your ability to respond instead of react. Let me give you an example. Picture a negotiator sitting across the table from someone who is screaming, slamming fists, trying to intimidate them. If the negotiator reacts the same way, shouting back, raising their voice, showing anger, they've already lost. They've allowed the other person to pull them into the storm. But if the negotiator stays calm, steady, unshaken, they gain the upper hand. The person across the table realizes they cannot control them, cannot break them, cannot pull them out of their center. That's power. Calm is the weapon that disarms chaos. Now think about your own life. Maybe it's not a negotiation table, but what about at work when things go wrong? Everyone is panicking because deadlines are missed or problems arise. Who gets respected the most in that moment? The one who stays calm and finds solutions. What about in arguments with friends, partners, or family? When voices get louder and emotions take over, who do you listen to? The one screaming or the one who stays calm and speaks with clarity? Power is never in the person who loses control. Power belongs to the one who keeps it. And here's something you must understand. People remember how you respond under pressure. They don't remember how you acted when everything was smooth and easy. No, your true reputation is built in moments of chaos. If you panic, if you lose yourself, if you lash out, that's how people will see you. But if you remain calm, even when everything around you is burning, people will see you as strong, grounded, reliable. They'll trust you. They'll follow you. They'll respect you without you asking for it. That's the influence calm creates. Calm also gives you a weapon most people don't have. Time. When you're calm, you can pause before reacting. You can assess before speaking. You can see the situation for what it is instead of what your emotions are telling you. Anger makes you rush. Fear makes you freeze. Panic makes you act without thought. But calm gives you the ability to slow everything down and see the bigger picture. And the person who sees clearly always makes better decisions than the one blinded by emotion. There's a saying, when the sea is calm, every ship has a good captain. But when the storm comes, you know who the real captain is. That's life. Anyone can seem composed when things are easy. But when life throws you storms, that's when your true training shows. If you've built the muscle of calmness, you become the captain who doesn't just survive the storm. You navigate through it with precision. And while others are drowning in panic, you are steering towards safety. But let's be honest, calmness doesn't come naturally to everyone. It's a skill. It takes training. It takes practice. It requires awareness of your emotions and discipline to not let them control you. Every time you pause, instead of reacting, every time you breathe instead of snapping, every time you choose clarity over chaos, you are building that muscle. Over time, it becomes your default. Calmness becomes your nature, and that's when you step into true power. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, the next time circumstances try to rattle you, the next time life throws you something unexpected, remind yourself of this. The most powerful person in the room is never the loudest. The most powerful person is the one who cannot be moved, cannot be broken, and cannot be pulled out of their calm. Because calm is not the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. Calm is not weakness, it's control, and control is the greatest power you can ever own. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that no matter how strong, smart, or capable you are, there are things you will never be able to control. And yet most of the stress, frustration, and anxiety people carry comes from fighting battles they were never meant to win, battles against things outside of their reach. That's why one of the greatest forms of freedom and calm you can ever give yourself is learning to control what you can and release what you can't. Think about how much energy you've wasted in your life, worrying about things you had no power over. Maybe you worried about what people thought of you or replayed conversations in your mind wishing you could change the outcome. Maybe you stressed over the economy, over politics, over the weather, over all the unpredictable turns life can take. And yet, despite all that worry, nothing changed. Worry never fixed the problem. Anxiety never prevented disaster. Stress never made things better. The truth is, the more you try to control what is uncontrollable, the more powerless you actually feel. Now compare that with the energy you spent focusing on things that were within your control. Maybe it was preparing for an exam, training for a job, practicing a skill, or disciplining yourself in a habit. When you poured your energy into what you could influence, you saw results. You got better, stronger, more capable. That's not a coincidence. That's the power of focus. When you direct your energy only toward what you can control, you stop fighting losing battles, and you start winning the battles that matter. Here's the thing about life. Storms will come. You can't control the storm. You can't control the winds, the waves, the rain. But you can control how you sail your ship. You can control your response, your decisions, your state of mind. And the captain who understands this is the one who survives. The ones who waste time cursing the storm, blaming the sea, or panicking about what they can't change are the ones who sink. The calm captain adjusts the sails, steers the wheel, and keeps moving forward. That's the difference between those who are destroyed by life and those who grow through it. It's easy to say let go of what you can't control, but it takes discipline to live it. Because the truth is, our minds crave control. We want certainty. We want guarantees. But life doesn't give those. Life gives you unpredictability. The job you thought was secure may disappear. The person you trusted may let you down. The plan you created may collapse overnight. You can't stop those things from happening. What you can control is how you respond when they do. Do you spiral into despair, or do you take a breath and ask, what's the next best step I can take right now? That question is where your power lies. Think about how often people waste their strength on things they can't change. They argue endlessly to prove someone wrong, trying to control another person's opinion. They replay the past in their mind, trying to rewrite what has already happened. They live in fear of the future, trying to control outcomes that haven't even arrived yet. It's like trying to stop the sun from setting or the tide from coming in. It's a losing game. And when you play a losing game, you never feel strong. You always feel defeated. That's why calm people look unshakable. They're not fighting battles they can't win. They're investing all their energy into battles they can. When you learn this, you stop reacting to every little thing that happens around you. Someone insults you, that's their choice. You can't control their mouth, but you can control whether you let it enter your heart. A problem arises at work, you can't control that problems exist, but you can control whether you complain or whether you roll up your sleeves and find solutions. The economy takes a downturn. You can't control global markets, but you can control how wisely you manage your money, how resourceful you become, how adaptable you stay. This is power. Real, grounded, calm power. There's a kind of peace that enters your life when you stop trying to manage the unmanageable. It's like putting down a heavy weight you didn't even realize you were carrying. You start to breathe deeper. You start to see clearer, because instead of being pulled in 1,000 directions by things you can't change, you're laser focused on the few things you actually can. And that focus compounds. Each decision builds on the next. Each action creates momentum. And that momentum creates real change. The truth is, your life will always have two circles. The circle of concern and the circle of control. The circle of concern is everything that matters to you, your family, your work, your health, your future, your world. But within that, there is a much smaller circle, the circle of control. That's your thoughts, your choices, your actions, your habits. Most people live their lives trapped in the circle of concern, exhausting themselves over everything they can't do. But the most calm, grounded, and effective people spend their lives in the circle of control. And because they master the small circle, they end up having far more influence in the bigger one. You have to decide where to put your energy. Every time you let anger, stress, or frustration consume you over something beyond your reach, you are throwing away energy that could be spent building something within your reach. Every time you hold on to the need to control everything, you are choosing chaos over calm. But when you release the things outside your hands, you gain something priceless, clarity. And that clarity is where calm begins. So ask yourself right now, what am I trying to control that is not mine to control? Is it other people's opinions? Is it the past? Is it an outcome I cannot predict? What if instead of fighting those battles, you took that same energy and invested it into building discipline, into growing your skills, into training your mind, into controlling how you respond? What kind of power would you unlock if all your energy went into what you can actually change? That's the secret. The storm may rage, the world may throw chaos at you, but if you train your mind to always come back to this principle, to focus only on what you can control and release the rest, you will never again be at the mercy of life's unpredictability. You'll be calm not because life is easy, but because you've mastered the discipline of directing your power only where it matters. And that is how you win battles most people never even realize they're fighting. Emotions are part of being human. They are powerful signals that tell us something important is happening within us and around us. But the mistake so many people make is believing that emotions should be in the driver's seat, that whatever they feel is what they must act on. And that's why lives get wrecked in a matter of seconds. Because someone allowed anger, fear, jealousy, or sadness to dictate their choices instead of pausing, listening, and then deciding. Emotions are messengers, not masters. They come to deliver information, but they are not supposed to be the ones running your life. Think about what happens when anger takes over. In that moment, your body tightens, your voice rises, your perspective narrows. You see red. And if you're not careful, you'll say things you can't unsay or do things you can't undo. But if you step back, even for just a few seconds, and ask yourself, what is this anger trying to tell me? You can respond in a way that's controlled and powerful, instead of destructive. Maybe that anger is telling you a boundary was crossed. Maybe it's signaling that something you value was disrespected. That's useful information. But the problem is, when you let the anger itself take over, instead of choosing a calm and calculated response, fear works the same way. Fear can paralyze you, keep you stuck, stop you from chasing opportunities, or make you retreat from challenges. But if you remember that fear is a messenger, you can use it to your advantage. Fear often shows up to alert you to risk, to signal that something matters deeply to you. If you let fear be your master, it will cage you. But if you let it be your messenger, it will guide you toward the very things you need to confront and grow from. Fear is not always a warning to stop. Sometimes it's a reminder that what you're about to do has the power to change your life. Even sadness has a role. It comes when we've lost something meaningful or when we're reminded of what matters most. If you let sadness control you, it can spiral into despair and helplessness. But if you see it as a messenger, it can point you toward healing, reflection, and deeper connection. It can remind you of your capacity for love and empathy. The key is remembering that no emotion, whether joy, sorrow, rage, or excitement, was ever meant to be your master. Each emotion is a visitor. It knocks on your door, brings you a message, and then it's your choice what to do with it. The truth is, emotions are energy. They rise up, they peak, and then they pass. But when you give them total control, they turn into dictators. That's when people sabotage relationships, quit too soon, or burn bridges. They let the temporary wave of feeling drag them into permanent decisions. And later, when the emotion has passed, they're left staring at the damage it caused. Training your mind to stay calm means learning to recognize emotions without handing them the keys to your life. You can acknowledge them, respect them, but you don't let them steer. Imagine your mind like a boardroom. Each emotion is a voice at the table. Anger gets to speak. Fear gets to speak. Sadness, joy, excitement, they all get to bring their input. You are the CEO. You listen, you take in the information, but you make the final decision. When you forget that, you let anger or fear take over the boardroom, and suddenly you're no longer running your life. They are calm is what keeps you in the CEO seat. Calm is what allows you to listen without being overpowered. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't feel them. Suppression is dangerous. When you bury emotions, they don't disappear. They build pressure until they explode. Calm doesn't mean ignoring how you feel. Calm means acknowledging it without becoming it. You can say, I feel angry, but I am not anger. I feel afraid, but I am not fear. I feel sad, but I am not sadness. That little separation gives you power. It gives you space to choose how to act instead of being dragged blindly by the emotion. Think of people you admire, leaders, mentors, those who seem unshakable. It's not that they don't feel emotions. They feel them deeply, but they've mastered the art of pausing before responding. They use techniques, breathing, grounding themselves, reframing the situation to prevent emotions from hijacking their clarity. When someone insults them, they don't lash back instantly. They pause, consider, and then respond in a way that disarms rather than escalates. That's why they earn respect. That's why they look powerful. because they've trained their mind to recognize emotions as signals, not orders. One of the most powerful things you can do is build the habit of space, the space between stimulus and response. Something happens, you get triggered. Before, you would react instantly. Now you pause, you breathe, you step back and think, what is the emotion here? What is it trying to tell me? And how do I want to respond? That gap of even a few seconds is where calm lives. That's where wisdom lives. That's where you reclaim control. It's not easy, because emotions are fast. They surge before you even realize it. But this is why training matters. Just like a muscle, your mind can learn to catch the emotion, hold it, and decide what to do with it. And every time you do that, you're reinforcing the truth. Emotions are messengers, not masters. Over time, this becomes your default. You stop being reactive. You stop letting people push your buttons. You stop being a puppet to circumstances. Instead, you become grounded, deliberate, and clear. The world needs more people like this. People who don't add to the chaos by reacting to everything, but who stay centered enough to lead with clarity. Imagine if in every argument, one person chose to stay calm, to listen, to process instead of react. Imagine if in every crisis, someone in the room remained unshaken, able to see the whole picture. That person is the one others lean on. That person is the one who makes better decisions. That person is the one who stands out. And you can be that person if you stop letting emotions be your master and instead treat them as messengers. So the next time anger rises, don't let it drive. Ask what it's signaling. The next time fear whispers, don't let it cage you. Ask what it's warning you about. The next time sadness sits heavy on your chest, don't drown in it. Ask what it's teaching you. Your emotions are not enemies. They are guides. They are signals. They are information. But they are not you. You are the one in charge. And the day you realize that, truly realize it, you unlock a level of calm and power that most people spend their lives chasing, but never find. Most people make the mistake of treating calm like an emergency button. They go through life without practicing it, without preparing for it. And then when crisis hits, they suddenly expect themselves to be composed, clear, and unshaken. But calm doesn't work that way. Calm isn't something you can just flip on when everything around you is burning. Calm is a discipline. It's a daily practice. It's something you train for, build into your lifestyle, and nurture every single day, so that when the storm finally arrives, you don't have to scramble. You're already prepared. Think about it like this. No athlete waits until the championship game to start training. No soldier waits until the battlefield to learn discipline. They put in the work every single day, long before the moment of testing comes. Why? Because in the moment of crisis, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall back on your training. And it's the same with calmness. If you don't practice it daily, you won't be able to summon it when you need it most. This is why people fall apart under pressure. They never built the muscle of calm. They never disciplined their emotions in the small, ordinary moments. So when the big moments came, their minds defaulted to panic. It's not that they were weak, it's that they were untrained. Calm is not natural for most of us. It's something you cultivate through consistent habits. If you want to stay calm when everything is collapsing, you have to practice being calm when things are inconvenient, when they're frustrating, when they test your patience in small ways. Everyday life gives you endless opportunities to practice calm. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Do you explode with anger? Or do you take a deep breath and let it go? A coworker says something irritating. Do you snap back instantly? Or do you pause and choose a composed response? You're waiting in line and it's moving slower than you'd like. Do you stew in frustration? Or do you train yourself to be patient? These might feel like small, insignificant moments, but they are your training ground. Each time you choose calm in the small battles, you're preparing yourself for the big ones. People often imagine calm as sitting cross-legged in silence, meditating for hours. And yes, meditation is a powerful practice for training your mind. But calm doesn't only happen on a cushion. Calm is trained in how you start your morning, in how you handle stress at work, and how you wind down at night. It's in your routines. Do you start your day rushing, scrolling, reacting to the world before you even center yourself? Or do you give yourself a few minutes to breathe, to focus, to set your mind on how you want to show up that day? The way you begin your day often dictates how you handle challenges later. Another way to build calm is through physical discipline. Your body and mind are deeply connected. When you push yourself through exercise, through controlled breathing, through discipline of movement, you're teaching your brain that you can stay composed under stress. The moment you want to quit but choose to keep going, you're reinforcing mental calmness. The moment you regulate your breath while your body is tired, you're practicing calm under pressure. That's why so many strong people you meet, athletes, martial artists, disciplined professionals, carry an aura of calm. They've trained it in their bodies daily. Journaling, reflection, and mindfulness are also powerful daily practices. When you take time each day to process your thoughts, to ask yourself what triggered you, to notice where you lost your calm, you gain awareness. And awareness is the first step toward mastery. You can't change what you don't notice. But once you notice, you can practice. You can say, next time this situation happens, I will respond differently. And with repetition, that new calm response becomes natural. The reason calm needs to be practiced daily is because life will never run out of challenges. You don't get to a point where everything is smooth forever. You get to a point where you are so trained that the challenges no longer control you. That's the difference. Calmness doesn't mean you escape storms. It means storms no longer shake you. And the only way to reach that level is to condition your mind daily. Think of calm like a savings account. Every time you practice it, every deep breath, every moment of patience, every time you choose clarity over chaos, you're making a deposit. And when crisis comes, you withdraw from that account. If you've been depositing daily, you'll have enough calm to carry you through. But if you've neglected the practice, you'll find yourself bankrupt the moment you need it most. So instead of waiting for life to hit you hard, start practicing now. Treat every challenge, big or small, as training. See traffic jams as practice for patience. See arguments as practice for self-control. See setbacks as practice for perspective. If you build this mindset, nothing is wasted. Every difficulty becomes part of your training. And little by little, you build a foundation so strong that when life tries to shake you, you stand unshaken. The calm you practice daily also influences how others see you. People trust those who remain composed. They look to the person who doesn't panic, who doesn't escalate, who brings stability in unstable situations. If you practice calm every day, you naturally become that person. And opportunities open up for people like that. Leaders are chosen not because they shout the loudest, but because they stay calm when everyone else loses their head. Most people will wait until life is burning to try and find calm. They'll search for it in desperation, hoping it shows up like magic. But the truth is, calm is built like strength. You don't get stronger in the middle of a crisis. You get stronger long before, through daily, deliberate practice. If you want to be unshakable in the future, you must be disciplined in the present. Calm is not an emergency button. It's a lifestyle, a discipline, a habit that becomes who you are. And when you build it into your daily life, something extraordinary happens. You stop being at the mercy of the world around you. You stop being reactive to every little thing. You stop letting life drag you wherever it wants. Instead, you carry a deep steadiness inside you that no one can take away. The storms will still come, the challenges will still arrive, but you will meet them differently. You won't be begging for calm, you'll already be walking in it. That is the power of making calm a daily practice. An unshakable mind is not a mind that never faces hardship. It's a mind that cannot be broken by hardship. Life will never stop testing you. Storms will keep coming, people will disappoint you, and plans will fall apart. You can't control that. What you can control is who you become in the middle of it all. And when you train your mind to remain calm, no matter what happens, you transform into someone who cannot be moved by circumstances. That's when you discover the truth. An unshakable mind creates an unstoppable life. Think about what happens when the mind is fragile. Every obstacle feels like the end of the world. Every rejection feels permanent. Every setback feels unbearable. A fragile mind reacts to life as if it's always personal, as if every difficulty is proof that they can't make it. And because they're so easily shaken, they stop moving forward. They give up too soon. They play small. Their life becomes limited not by what's possible, but by what they believe they can endure. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine a mind that has been trained to stay calm, steady, and focused, even in chaos. That mind doesn't panic when things fall apart. It adapts. It doesn't quit when obstacles show up. It finds another way. It doesn't drown in rejection. It learns from it and keeps going. That's the power of being unshakable. It doesn't mean life is easier for you. It means you've built yourself to be stronger than the challenges that come your way. And when you're stronger than your challenges, nothing can stop you. The truth is, most people don't fail because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. They fail because they lack resilience. They get knocked down once or twice, and they let it define them. They allow the chaos of the outside world to dictate the state of their inner world. But those who build an unshakable mind refuse to live that way. They decide that no matter what happens outside, they will remain steady inside. And because of that, they become unstoppable. An unshakable mind is like a mountain. The storms may rage, the winds may howl, the rain may fall, but the mountain doesn't move. It doesn't argue with the storm, it doesn't panic, it stands tall, rooted, unshaken. That's the kind of presence you create when you discipline your mind. People feel it when they're around you. They sense that steadiness, they trust it. And you begin to notice something powerful. You start achieving things not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. When you are unshakable, you stop being a prisoner of circumstance. Things may not go your way, but they don't break you. Failures become feedback. Rejection becomes redirection. Delays become lessons in patience. Instead of asking, why me, you begin to ask, what can I learn? How can I grow? What's the next step? That shift in perspective changes everything. It takes you from being reactive to being proactive. It moves you from victim to victor. And it makes your life unstoppable because nothing has the power to keep you down for long. Think about the people you admire most. They're not the ones who had perfect lives. They're the ones who faced unimaginable challenges and kept moving forward. They endured loss, failure, setbacks, and yet they rose stronger. That's not luck. That's not magic. That's the product of an unshakable mind. And you have this same ability. You may not control the trials that come your way, but you can absolutely control the mindset you bring to them. The beauty of this is that when your mind is unshakable, your life expands. You take risks others are too afraid to take. You pursue goals others give up on. You handle criticism without crumbling. You handle stress without falling apart. And because of that, doors open for you that remain closed for everyone else. Life bends toward the person who refuses to break. But don't mistake unshakable for unfeeling. Being unshakable doesn't mean you never feel fear, sadness, or anger. It means you feel them without being ruled by them. You acknowledge the storm without letting it drag you away. You process the emotion, but you don't let it control your actions. That's why calmness is so crucial. It's the anchor that keeps you grounded when emotions want to sweep you into chaos. And when you live this way consistently, people see you differently. They respect you. They look to you for guidance. They know that no matter what happens, you're the one who won't lose your head. Life will keep testing you. It will send storms you never saw coming. It will throw obstacles in your path at the worst possible moments. But when your mind is trained, when your calm is unshakable, those storms don't destroy you. They shape you. They refine you. They prepare you for even greater challenges ahead. You become battle-tested, and with every trial you overcome, your confidence grows. You stop fearing what might happen tomorrow, because you know whatever comes, you can handle it. That's unstoppable. And here's the truth. The world will always belong to the people who refuse to be shaken. Not because they never stumble, but because they always rise. Not because they never doubt, but because they never surrender to doubt. They turn their calm into clarity, their clarity into action, and their action into results. That cycle creates momentum that nothing can stop. So when you ask yourself what it really means to live an unstoppable life, remember this: it doesn't come from avoiding storms. It comes from being so unshakable in your mind that storms no longer control your course. You don't need perfect conditions to move forward. You don't need everything to go your way. You simply need to be steady, to remain grounded, to hold your calm no matter what. And once you do, you will realize that nothing, no failure, no rejection, no setback can truly stop you. The only thing that could ever stop you was your own mind. And now you've trained it to be unshakable. That is the ultimate freedom. That is the ultimate power. And when you master it, you step into a life where obstacles are no longer barriers. They're stepping stones. A life where storms are no longer threats. They're training grounds. A life where you are no longer tossed by the waves. You are the one steering the ship. That is what it means to have an unshakable mind. And that is what makes your life unstoppable. Life will always bring noise, chaos, and storms you cannot predict. You cannot silence the world, but you can train your mind to remain steady inside of it. Calm is not weakness. Calm is control. It is the ability to choose clarity over panic, discipline over reaction, strength over fear. And when you master that, nothing outside of you has the power to dictate your path. Every point we explored leads to one truth. Power belongs to the person who refuses to be shaken. When you know why calm is power, when you control what you can and release what you can't, when you treat emotions as messengers instead of masters, when you practice calm daily instead of waiting for emergencies, you build a mind that nothing can break. That kind of mind creates a life without limits. So the next time chaos surrounds you, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask instead, how can I remain unshakable in this moment? Because the moment you decide to stay calm is the moment you take your power back. And when you take your power back, the world can no longer control you. You become the storm. Your future is not shaped by what happens to you. It's shaped by how you respond. Train your mind, master your calm, and watch how unstoppable your life becomes.